Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to this series. We are talking about design document guidelines for data platforms. In this lecture, we'll cover about the requirements section, what all things you should capture in your design document. So requirements section summarizes the overall requirements at a very high level, not at a very low level. Some of the low level design documents may have the actual one is to one mapping between the requirements and the design solution. But for a high level design document, you just you can just mention it at a high level. What are the important functional requirements? Important thing is you should give the references to the locations where all the functional documents are stored. Some of you may call it as the BRDs, business requirement document, or some of you may refer to as the specifications, right, or FSDs as well. Wherever these are kept, right, you give the locations of all these in this design document, so that people can easily go to the requirements documents and read the relevant sections for the current work, right. Again, as I said earlier, a design document should be your one single document through which you can navigate through the different various documents within the project. So becomes it is very helpful for the data engineers or the other tech leads and the architects referring to the various documentation. Uh, what you can also do is add at a high level the requirement traceability matrix, right? RTM. Now, what is that? It is basically the mapping between your functional requirements and your the sections between the design document, right? So I've given one very simple table here. It may not be as simple as it is shown here, but at a high level you can try to do that, right? Let's say you have a requirement where you want to have some, let's say this point number 2, right, alerts to be generated in real time. Okay, and then there would be a link related to that requirement, whether you have addressed it or not, you can mention it, and which section in the design document, right. You will have one section related to the solution architecture and its components. You can mention where this functional requirement is being addressed, and you can also mention whether it is addressed or not, right. It may happen that there might be certain requirements which are not yet addressed, right. Let's say the system should be capable of reprocessing the input files, right. So currently the design what you have built, maybe there is some challenge because of which it is not able to do that. Do you please highlight it? Okay. See, it can happen that whenever the design document is complete, and again it's a work in progress document, right. For most of the time there would be, you would be able to complete 80, 85, 90%, but there would be still a lot of changes that will keep on coming in. So if at all there is certain requirement which has not been addressed, you please highlight it so that the consumers of this document clearly know that okay, this is not currently being addressed and it is still pending. And whatever has been addressed, you can mention yes, it has been addressed, and give the section number, right, which caters to that. Now it may not be at a very low level, right. It may not be at a very specific, very very specific to a certain requirement, right. But at a high level, you should try to do this. Again, I would say this RTM is an optional section. I've not seen many people do it, but if at all you can do that, it would help to capture the requirements, not to capture the requirements, but to ensure that, right, whatever the requirements are there, there is a technical solution for that particular requirement. So all these things can be covered in your requirement section, but the main thing is give the location and all, give the references, so that whoever is browsing the design document, they know like where you can go and get the requirement document. Or even you can do the same thing for the source to target mapping documents also, right. If the source to target mapping documents have already been created, because that again acts as a requirement document for the data engineers who are building the ETL jobs, right. They would often have to refer to that source to target mapping documents. To give a location of that also, what should be covered in the source to target mapping document, again that should be a separate lecture on that, right. How do you cover all these things? Maybe we can cover it in some of our other videos.